We got in today the Jordan 12 Taxi. Now, people have been a little skeptical about this sneaker. Like, there's been people in the comment section that are saying these are going to sit, which, hey, at the end of the day, if that's the case, then so be it. But in my humble opinion, this one right here is a must cop.
What up, guys? Welcome to the channel. I'm back with another video, man. Listen, I want to preface this video by saying this is not a shoe review type of video. I want to put that out there up front. So if you're watching because you think I'm going to review the Jordan Retro 12s, that's not what we're going to talk about today. In fact, we're going to be talking about 8 reasons as to why people go in debt to buy Jordans. But check this out. Not just Jordans. I think the 8 reasons that I'm going to share with you guys today is applicable to other material items such as houses, cars, clothes, etc. You fill in the blank. So these particular pair of Jordans actually were released November 8th, last Saturday. These are considered the Air Jordan Retro 12 Taxi Jordans. Now, full transparency, I can't sit up here and tell you guys I've never purchased a pair of Jordans before, right? Like, that would be hypocritical. So I've owned 15 pair of Jordans over the years, right? I mean, going back to my high school days. And listen, I would never tell anybody how to spend your money, right? Buy Jordans, buy the houses, buy the cars, buy the clothes, buy the motorcycles, buy whatever you want to buy. In this video though, I really want you guys to listen to some of these reasons, because I think some of these reasons is why people fall into financial hardships. I know there's going to be some people watching this video who have no idea. Every Jordan shoe, the main Jordan, right, the signature line Jordans, they have a number starting with Jordan Retro 1s. In fact, there was another pair of Jordans that were released yesterday, the low top Jordan Retro 1s, the Chicago colorway, right, red, white, and black. I'm not getting that pair, by the way. These retail at $215. The Jordans that just dropped yesterday retail at about $145. I just want to share that with you for those of you who are watching this video that have no clue about anything Jordan related, right? There are 39 pair of main Jordans that were released, right? So you have Jordan 1 through 39. These are 12s. One of my favorite pair of Jordans is actually the Retro 12 Jordans. They look like these, except they're black and red. All the sneakerheads out there, you guys know the ones I'm talking about. They're actually dubbed the Flu Game Jordans. The reason why they were called Flu Game is because in the 1997 NBA Finals, Michael Jordan wore that pair and they said he had the flu. Fun fact, that was debunked. Later, it was said by one of Jordan's trainers that he actually had food poisoning. So he didn't have the flu, but he did have flu-like symptoms. I watched that game, by the way. Let's talk about it, man. I want to share with you guys 8 reasons, right? And they're broken down into 2 categories. The first category being psychological reasons. I'm gonna give you 4 of those. The second category is going to be economic reasons. I'm gonna give you 4 of those. So a total of 8 reasons as to why people go in debt to buy, again, not only Jordans. I know the title is about Jordans, but this is applicable to other material things. Funny story before I get into these 8 reasons. The Flu Game Jordans, the black and red Jordans, I'll put a picture on the screen.
These slick might
True
be,
story.
They might be a problem.
Those came out in 97. My freshman year in high school, 96, 97 school year, I had a classmate by the name of, shout out to my guy, Marcus Dillon. I was a freshman, he was a junior. We were sitting in class. This is a funny story. We're sitting in class. My guy decides to leave class to go to the mall to buy the Jordans. He comes back to class, drops his backpack, pulls out the Jordans out of the box, put them on his feet, and that day he was actually, I think, the first person at school with the new Jordans on, right? The Flu Game Jordans, the black and red joints. And you guys know, all the sneakerheads out there, you know, when you're walking down the hallway, you got a fresh pair of J's on your feet. Everybody's talking about it. You're getting a lot of attention. But that's what the Jordan shoes created, right? Excitement. I mean, that's just what it is, especially culturally, right? And it's not just, it goes across all demographics. White, black, Asian, I don't care who you are. People love Jordan shoes. And that's just kind of how it was. But I digress, man. Let's go ahead and start with the psychological reasons, man. First, status and identity. Jordans are more than shoes. They represent success, confidence, and belonging in certain communities. People associate them with Michael Jordan's greatness or street culture, prestige. So owning them feels like owning a piece of that, right? It's funny, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but when you think about some of the Jordans, one of the brilliant things that Nike did is create, certain brand awareness around Jordans. So they link Jordans with certain moments. Like I just mentioned, flu game Jordans. So when you think about flu game, you think about the game that Michael Jordan played in the 1997 NBA Finals when he had the flu-like symptoms, right? These right here, they're called retro 12 taxis, right? And really they call them taxis because of the black and yellow bottoms right here. Number 2, social pressure and image. In many social circles, especially online or in youth culture, having the newest or rarest pair signals that you belong or you made it. There's a strong, quote, I don't want to look broke, unquote, mentality, which can push people to spend even when it hurts financially. Let me read that again, because this is so true. There's a strong, quote, I don't want to look broke, unquote, mentality, which can push people to spend even when it hurts financially. So when it comes to Jordans and other material items, fear of missing out, right? We call it FOMO. Some people will spend bill money, rent money, or whatever it is, or take money from those areas to buy certain material things just to say I have it, or charge on a credit card, whatever the case may be, right? People will do those things to purchase some things that they really don't necessarily have the money for, but that's the mentality that a lot of people have, right? Number 3, emotional reward or a dopamine hit. Buying limited edition Jordans gives a rush, a feeling of excitement, pride, and accomplishment. That high from getting something exclusive can outweigh the thought of how much debt it causes. That's a big one. Number 4, scarcity and hype culture. Nike and other brands create artificial scarcity, limited drops, exclusive releases, which makes people feel if I don't buy now, I'll miss out forever. This triggers FOMO, fear of missing out, which drives impulse spending. Again, man, brands, companies are brilliant at creating artificial scarcity, right? The limited drops, these are exclusive, buy these, right? Or a limited pair. Back in 2015, they came out with raffle tickets where you had to buy a raffle. I wouldn't say you had to buy, but if you wanted to reserve your pair of shoes, they came out with the raffles. So people were buying raffle tickets just to make sure that they would reserve their pair of Jordans. Because if you got there, you guys know how those lines look, right? All my sneakerheads out there, when Jordans were released, especially back in the day when I was buying Jordans and things of that nature, when you go to the mall or any store that sells Jordans, the lines are super long. People waiting on stores to open up. All right, guys, I'm not sure what happened, but my camera just stopped recording. So let me go through these last 4. This category is going to be economic and social factors. Number 1, credit accessibility. Easy access to buy now, pay later options like Klarna or Afterpay makes it feel painless to go into debt. Many people don't feel the financial strain immediately, so the short-term reward outweighs the long-term cost. You guys know there are a lot of platforms now that will allow you to buy now and pay later. Affirm is another one where you basically can create a payment plan. So for example, these shoes are $215. They may allow you to make payments of $25 a month for 8 months. And so for a lot of people, that's enticing, that's appealing. And they may not necessarily have the money up front to pay it all in one lump sum, so they want to make payments. and pay interest on a pair of Jordans or other material items. Again, that's to get consumers to go into more debt, to spend money that they don't necessarily have. Number 2, cultural capital. In some communities, Jordans function like a badge of respect. Having them can open doors socially, even professionally, especially in fashion, music, and entertainment circles. That's true. I think, if you were to see somebody walk into the barbershop, for example, I know in the black community, if we see somebody walk in the barbershop, they may have a fresh pair of J's on. One thing that we notice, we look at the foot first. So we're going to notice a fresh pair of shoes. And when it comes to J's, I can see somebody in the barbershop asking somebody, hey, where you get those from, right? Again, the demand for Jordans is not necessarily as high as it used to be, at least in my personal opinion from what I see. But these are definitely conversation pieces, Jordans in particular, right? Number 3, marketing psychology. This is a big one. Sneaker brands use storytelling, linking products to icons, moments, and emotion to make purchases feel meaningful, not just material. Like I talked about earlier about the Jordan Retro 12 flu games. People associate the flu game Jordan with the game that Michael Jordan played in the 1997 NBA Finals when he had the flu-like symptoms, right? And so when you hear flu game Jordan, you think about that game. Number 4, ironically, people from lower income backgrounds may spend more proportionally on visible luxury goods. It's a way to project dignity or success in a society that often equates worth with what you own. Let me say that again, because this is big across many demographics, but especially in the black community. It says, ironically, people from lower income backgrounds may spend more proportionally on visible luxury goods. It's a way to project dignity or success in a society that often equates worth with what you own. Here's the deal. A lot of people in society love to signal their wealth. They love to signal to others that they have money. We want to create this image, this persona, to buy certain things, to let others know that, hey, this person has money. This person is doing very well for themselves. Even if the truth is that they may be into debt up to their eyeballs. Again, you never know how some people get the things that they have. It may look like it from, on the outside looking in. The optics may look like this person is doing well for themselves, but you never know what they're doing in order to get some of those things. Some of it may be legitimate. Some of it, people can actually afford some of the things that they get. So I'm not naive to think that just because somebody drives a nice car or they have nice clothes or, they're able to take fancy trips, I'm not naive enough to think that everybody that does those things can't afford it. I do believe that there are people who can afford those things, right? But there are some people who can't. And they over leverage themselves, right? They overextend themselves and they put themselves in bad financial situations. And this video, the main objective of this video is just to say, don't go into debt to buy things like Jordans or other material things, cars, houses, clothes, etc., motorcycles, all these different things. I don't care what it is. At the end of the day, we're all different, right? I say this a lot, but no two people are alike. For some people watching this video, you can care less about Jordans. You'll never spend $200 on a pair of Jordans, right? And I get it. There are people who play video games. I'm not one of those people. So I wouldn't go spend, $600 on a PS5, right? To some people, they'll do it all day. I wouldn't go spend $90 on a video game. For some people, they'll do it all day, right? And so, again, I'm not here to judge anybody on how they spend their money or anything like that. All I'm saying is be smart about how you spend your money. And if you're spending that type of money on these type of things, I just hope that you guys are also investing your money. The thing about Jordans, I will say, and some of the other items you can do it as well, but you can definitely monetize Jordans and do things that can pay for themselves, right? Like creating content, for example. You have a lot of these shoe creators. When I watch some of their videos, that, you know, some of these creators that do sneaker reviews, when I look behind them, they may have hundreds of Jordans on their back wall, right? That's a lot of money. That's what I see when I watch these videos and I see all these different Jordans on the wall. I'm like, that's a lot of money, especially if you know how much some of these Jordans cost. But if you create content, right, you can monetize your videos, and in some degree they can pay for themselves. And also the resale value on Jordans is always, you know, high for the most part, right? There are a lot of people who buy Jordans, they buy multiple pairs of Jordans. So they may go into a store and buy 2-3 pairs. They'll keep a pair and sell the other ones to make a profit. You have platforms like StockX, for example, where you can put shoes and other products on and you can have people bid on the item, right? It's like an online auction. And so it's nothing to make a profit on a pair of Jordans. I don't care if they're used Jordans. There are going to be people that are willing to spend, in some cases, large amounts of money on a pair of Jordans. Depending on how exclusive they are, how limited they are, people will spend big money on Jordans. Fun fact, Jordan had a pair of shoes that sold for $2.2 million. It's the most a sneaker has ever sold, right? It broke a record of being the highest price shoe to ever sell. Drake, the rapper, a lot of you probably heard of Drake. He bought a pair of Jordans for $2 million, all gold pair of Jordans. I can't remember what number they were. I think they were like 10s, the Jordan 10s, or maybe 4s or 11s, one of those. But he spent $2 million on an all gold pair of Jordans. And so it's crazy how much people will spend for these things. You know, in that same, I don't know if it was the same auction, but the same year, 1998, that those Jordan 13s came out, the ones that sold for $2.2 million, that jersey Michael Jordan wore in that game was sold for $10.1 million. So obviously, you know, people have spent a lot of money for certain collectibles, and on the outside looking in, again, that's going to sound crazy to a lot of you guys out there. But you got to remember, it's also levels to it, right? And so, you know, obviously some people have more resources, more money than others, so they can spend money on certain things that to the average person, it looks like a lot, but to them, it's really not a lot of money. I digress. I just want to tell you guys, look, try to be as smart as possible when it comes to your spending habits. Remember, these things become habits, they become behaviors, and if you can demonstrate good spending habits early on, you're a good steward at managing your money. You make good decisions spending your money. I don't care what you spend your money on. If you got your finances in order, that's one thing. That's okay to spend money however you want it. But if you don't have your finances in order and you're in a ton of debt and things of that nature, I don't think it's a good idea to go spending your money on material things when you having financial troubles, right? Just to look like you have money. Don't put yourself in financial hardships to buy material things. That's really the purpose of this video. Look, man, I appreciate you guys for watching. Until the next video, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.